First question for these guys. We could start with Clinton in the back on the left.
Tom, you said yesterday it just wasn't good enough. Turned it around. Big night tonight. What changed as far as play approach and execution?
Yeah, good is the enemy of great. That's a good book, too. But a little bit of luck. You know, the first at bat, the swing and bunt always helps to start your day. But Montgomery was throwing a really good sinker and changeup today, and I knew after my first at bat, you know, my approach wasn't going to work against him today, so I kind of had to go to Plan B and work the right side to stay on that heavy sinker and that changeup, and it worked.
Steve, over here on the right.
Merrill, I wanted to ask you, saw you at Dodger Stadium, a very successful performance there, another one today. You've done so well in the postseason, not that you didn't know you had the ability, but what has come together for you the last few games?
I think just the execution. You know, if you look at the Philly game, at least game 2, I think that's where I got beat, is I just didn't execute well enough. So my focus since then, and even before then, but my focus since then was just purely pitch execution. Trying to just take one pitch at a time, almost the feel of this is the biggest pitch of the game. And then once that pitch is done, have the same mindset going forward as far as the next pitch.
Ron on the left, second row.
Merrill, during those years in South Korea, could you ever have imagined making it back to this moment? Did you dream about this stage? And what was it like there? What helped you turn everything around there, and who helped?
Yeah, I definitely had visions and images about me sitting on this podium for sure. You know, the big league games over there for the time difference are pretty much in the morning. You know, pretty much right when I'm waking up. So that was kind of my routine. I'd wake up, make my coffee, and check on big league baseball. You know, it felt literally and figuratively miles away when I was over there, but that was always the mindset. That was always the focal point, was getting back to the big leagues. You know, I don't think anybody can predict being able to sit here and pitch in the World Series. You know, I think there's a lot of things that need to go right. Got to be at the right place at the right time, and obviously have the right team around you. You know, guys like this, Gabby, just really everybody that has helped contribute to, you know, me being in this spot. It's not just me; it's a whole team effort. But over there, you know, just the coaches that I had, the translation factor obviously is a bit of a hindrance, but you know, there were guys that helped out as much as they could. But at the end of the day, I think what helped over there the most is almost being my own voice and my own pitching coach.
I think you said it was a little lost in translation. A lot you had to be on your own.
Yeah. I think, you know, obviously they speak a completely different language than we do, obviously, and the way that they approach pitching and mechanics and that type of stuff, at least at the time, wasn't necessarily on the same wavelength of how I looked at things. So that was part of the issue, is even if they were trying to attack the same issue, it might not, you know, come together in a way that they ultimately wanted to. So I had to kind of filter through and take bits and pieces of what I thought would help and what I needed to kind of leave behind.
Jake.
Tommy, I'm curious, how often over the last couple of years have you dreamt and thought and visualized winning a championship? How often throughout your day-to-day does that thought pop into your head?
I would say it's the last couple of years. With San Diego, I thought there was a possibility. When I signed with the Reds, you know, the Reds are going through a transitioning phase, or rebuilding phase is the right term. Which now I really think that team might be scary next year. They have some young guys over there that are pretty good. So last year kind of really wasn't a thought, but then I got traded, so I thought possibly something could happen. You know, Boston, the players over there and the coaching staff, anything could happen. then this year when I signed with the Mets, that was one of my first thoughts was, all right, on paper we have a championship caliber team. It's something that, you dream about as a kid. I would say I would definitely think throughout if my career would end in, let's say a few years from now, I would say that I dreamt about playing in the big leagues, or playing in the big leagues. I'm playing in the World Series. I'm sorry. I don't think we don't play this game without the intentions of winning a World Series, especially when you have a team that you feel like, you have a special group that could compete for a World Series. Did I answer your question at all? It was a tough question, man.
I'm just more on the day-to-day. Like, how often does that thought infiltrate your head?
No, day-to-day, man, I don't think about that. I'm more in the moment, the preparation of what I need to do today to be better, to help the team win.
Paul?
Merrill, all your starts this postseason have been on the road, but you obviously had a very personal cheering section here tonight. What did that mean to have that type of performance in front of so much family, and have you had a chance to talk to any of them yet after the game?
Yeah, it was definitely special. I touched on it earlier. My grandma is here, and I haven't seen her probably since 2011. So I'm looking forward to see her. But no, I haven't seen them yet. So if you guys could ask less questions, I can get over there and say hi.
Jack and then Teo.
Merrill, the last person to pitch a complete game in the postseason was Justin Verlander. Last Diamondback to go 7 innings was Cole Mentor back in 2011. You just pitched arguably the greatest game of your career. Do you have to pinch yourself to let that sink in for you tonight?
Honestly, afterwards, not as much. I'm confident that I can get people out, right? Like, I feel like I've shown myself enough over the last 5 years that if I execute pitches, I can get good hitters out. I think the pinching moment came honestly before the game. Just sitting there and thinking through what I was about to do and where I am and the stage that I'm on, I think was more of the realization for me. The fact that I was preparing to pitch Game 2 of the World Series. I think that was probably more of the oh shit moment or whatever you want to call it.
Teo.
Maryland, in Game 6 against the Phillies, after the first inning where you walked Schwarber and Harper, you really dialed in your command, it seemed like. Were the things that you were thinking through in your mind, command-wise, the same tonight as over the final 4 innings of that game?
Yeah, I mean, they're the same thoughts every game. It's just whether or not that actually happens or not, right? I go into every game trying to dot every single pitch that I throw. I want to throw it right on the edge, the best that I can to my ability every single time I go out on that mound and every single at-bat that I have. Just obviously some games it works out better than others.
Is there something that you can identify that made that possible tonight?
I guess just the process of what we go through, what he kind of touched on, the day-to-day work that we put in, the preparation that we have kind of leading up to the game.
Down here on the right side.
Merrill, going back to the greatest game of your career, Moreno just said that he's really proud of you, of what you did tonight. What do you have to say about him and your connection with him? Such a young guy, but leading you guys up to this point in the World Series.
Yeah, well, I'm really proud of what Gabby did tonight as well. The strides that I've seen Gabby have from the beginning of the season to where we are now is incredible. I've said it multiple times in the last couple weeks and the last couple days that I can't wait till I'm 50 years old and I'm watching Gabby Moreno still play in the big leagues. I think he's that type of talent. I think he's got that type of mentality. For as young as he is, he's not scared of the moment. He's not scared of really anything that I've seen. So I got to give a lot of credit for tonight. I got to give a lot of credit for Gabby. He called the right pitches at the right time.
Standing up on the left.
Merrill, we talked to your brother. He said last year you took him to the World Series for his birthday. He said this tonight was a way better birthday present.
That makes me happy. his birthday's Halloween. It's coming up, and he texted me the other day saying that, you know, obviously this is probably the best birthday present that I could give him. So that definitely makes me feel good about not only what we're doing, but you know, definitely what I'm doing as well.
We'll take two more. We'll go to Steve, and then we'll finish up on the left side.
Two quick questions. Tommy, to you, did you read the book Good to Great? Did it inspire you?
I actually did read it. I did read it. I felt like a lot of the 5 points in that book, I was kind of already doing most of them. Did it inspire me? Of course. One of my mentors, who the St. Louis Cardinals hired, he gave it to a group of us to read that were hand-chosen as from the Cardinals to work with him. And I actually passed it along to a friend to read. So, highly recommend it.
And Merrill, briefly, I hope I'm not getting too personal, but you said you hadn't seen your grandmother in like 12 years?
Since 2011.
Why?
Unfortunately, I feel like just life gets in the way. This baseball thing takes up a lot of our time. That was actually driving to spring training. Me and my wife drove from Phoenix to Arizona, and we stopped and spent the night with her. But yeah, obviously I would like to see her more, but stuff happens.
And Merrill, you mentioned Korea, but junior college, signing your first pro contract, your first Major League Baseball contract when you're 30. How did the path prepare you to seize that moment you were talking about in the outfit before the game?
I would like to think that part of it is just at this point in my career, nothing is going to shock me, right? I think going over to Korea is way, as a 26-year-old, is way scarier than pitching in the big leagues or even in the World Series, to be honest with you. There was just so many unknowns at that age. Obviously, with my baseball career, the choice to go over there, the culture, leaving my family, I think that was the biggest pressure. And I think at this point in my career, I'm just, I just turned 35. I'm definitely closer to the end of my career than I am the beginning. So I'm just trying to enjoy it as much as I can and not make anything bigger than it needs to be.